In direct loading test, we directly calculate the value of EPH, okay, by disconnecting load, and by connecting load we calculate VT. After calculation of EPH, VT, we calculate voltage regulation. So this is the process for the direct loading test to calculate the voltage regulations. After that, we see the indirect methods. Okay, so in indirect methods, we see there are three different types of methods. First is your synchronous impedance method, second is your ampere turn methods, and third is the Pottier triangle methods. Synchronous impedance method is also called as a EMI method, okay, and ampere turn method is also called as a MMF method, okay. So sometimes they ask in the objective questions, if your online exam is conducted because of these critical situations, so be prepared with the online also. So the synchronous impedance method is also called as a EMF methods, or ampere turn method is also called as a MMF methods. These are the another name of these two methods, okay. Now in the indirect methods, then we see what are the data required to calculate indirect methods. In the first, we see the armature resistance, okay. Then we see open circuit test and short circuit test. So in last lecture, we see the armature resistance technique, how we can calculate armature resistance of the synchronous alternator, okay. So in this case I use the Holt ammeter technique, voltmeter ammeter technique, because armature resistance is in the category of medium resistance. That's why I choose the voltage voltmeter ammeter technique to calculate this armature resistance, okay. First of all, I calculate the DC resistance, that is RDC resistance, okay. After the calculation of RDC, means across each two phase, okay, between R and Y and B, and then R and B, then I take average, okay. And according to the skin effects, I apply the skin effects, okay, because this is a on armature winding there is a sinusoidal flux is present. So according to that, I just maintain the relation, that is Ra AC resistance with DC resistance, okay. So in this way I can calculate the armature resistance. So this is the procedure, okay, to calculate the armature resistance. So in this procedure I say what is the conclusion? The conclusion is, after calculation I just write this note. This is very important note, that is your armature resistance is 1.25 or 1.5 times the DC resistance, okay. This is also called as a skin effect, okay. I already explained in the last lecture. So this is very simple, okay. And then next we see the open circuit test, okay. Now in open circuit test, first of all, first of all we assume some condition here. What are the conditions we taken to calculate the VOC? What is my objective? My objective is calculate VOC at rated field current, okay. So what is the procedure? First of all, so this is your alternator. In the alternator I connect here voltmeter, okay, and to the field winding, okay, to the field winding as per construction I here connect 230 volt DC supply to the your field winding, that is field excitation, okay. This is a variable field excitations. Why I give this variable field excitations? Because I can vary the field from 0 to up to the maximum level, okay, where I get the EO or VOC, open circuit voltage, okay. So this is my aim, that's why I here consider variable field excitations. So how can I calculate now VOC, okay. Everyone just try to concentrate on the diagram, okay. First of all I consider, or I put field current is equal to 0, okay, and whatever be the armature winding is open, okay, because this is an open circuit test, okay. So what is the next step? Whenever I slowly increase the field excitations by using this varistor, okay, I increase the field excitations. When I increase the field excitations, just carefully observe this graph. This graph is between field current and phase voltage. Okay, so in field current, I just say here I increase the field current in a such a way that I get the rated voltage. Then what is the rated voltage? At IF1, I get the rated voltage. Okay. So after that, I increase 20 to 25% of field excitation current, 20 to 25% of rated current. Okay. What is the 20 to 25% of rated current? Means suppose I consider this is a 5 ampere my rated current. Okay. The alternator having 5 ampere rated current. Okay. Which is display on the your chip on that alternator. Okay. So if I consider 20 to 25%, 20% means near about your here 6 to 6.5 ampere current given, 6.5 ampere to 7 ampere is given to this field current. Okay, means I slowly increase the field current, that is 20 to 25% of the rated current. Okay, let's consider 5 ampere is the rated current. Take 20% of the 5 ampere. Okay, and add that current. Okay, so I after increase of 20 to 25% I get IF2. On the IF2 I get rated voltage, that is open circuit voltage. So in this way I can calculate VOC. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate the open circuit voltage by using open circuit test. Okay, so this is very important, and this is also called as which type of characteristics? That is OCC, open circuit characteristics. Okay, and this characteristics is used to calculate VOC. Okay, so this is the conclusion, that is by using OCC I get VOC, because it is understood that if there is a OCC only voltage is present. Okay, because current is zero. Okay, so there is no sense. Okay, so it is very easy to remember how I can calculate the VOC. Now after calculations of VOC, so here I just explain the procedure. Okay, how can I calculate the VOC? Okay, so I all this point I explain. Okay, while the explanation of the diagram. Okay, just go through this PPT. I will share on the our official group. Okay, or I also upload on the our Moodle channel. Okay, and in last night I uploaded first video of the second unit. Okay, on YouTube. So go to the BSUR electrical, and just in electrical machines you find one video. Okay, which is based on the unit number 2, that is voltage regulations. So those who not attend the lectures, please share this information to your friends. Okay, I today I am uploaded 2 to 3 videos, so in this way I can upload all videos, so don't worry about that. Okay, you just study properly. Now the next is,
हॅलो
yes,
हॅलो सर,
yes,
आमचं ते मुडल्स ऍक्सेस करून द्या ना त्या सब्जेक्ट वाईज, कारण ते तुमचं आम्हाला ऍक्सेस होत नाहीये.
okay. Oh, today I complete this activity.
ओके सर, थँक्यू.
So in the next next test is, that is short circuit test. Okay, in the short circuit test I can calculate ISC. Okay, as I mentioned in the headlines. Okay, that is ISC. So how can I calculate ISC? One thing you observe that both, whether it is a VOC or ISC, play with the which quantity? These both quantities play with the one quantity, that is field excitations. Okay, so this is the way field excitations means what? There is no confusion. Means on x-axis there is a field current. Okay, on y-axis there is an armature current. Now what happened to when I calculate ISC? What are the precautions to be cared? So the first precaution is, that is ammeter. Okay, when I connected this ammeter, okay, here I short circuit the armature winding, and I put in between R phase and Y phase there is an ammeter, okay, to calculate the armature current. Now here I connect 230 volt DC supply to apply field excitation to the field winding, okay. So this is your field current. This is the same procedure, okay, with respect to VOC. Here just I short circuit the alternator, and in the first state, that is open circuit test, I just open the your armature winding. So this is the only difference in between VOC and ISC. So this test, that is short circuit test, is called as SCC, short circuit characteristics, okay. So two characteristics are used in the voltage regulation. First is the OCC, okay, and second is the SCC, okay. So these two important characteristics. Now in this characteristic, how can I calculate now IFSC, okay, or ISC? So first of all, I put the field excitation at 0 mark, okay. So first of all, I put field excitation is 0, okay. After that, when field excitation is 0, okay, then I slowly increase the field excitations, okay. If I increase the field excitations because of the short circuit current, okay, and armature winding is present on the alternator, here my armature current is slowly increased. If I consider this is my 2 ampere, then simultaneously our armature current is vary with 2 ampere, okay, because this is the linearity, okay. What is the slope of this line? Please tell me what is the slope of that line. Praveen, संकल्प.
सर स्लोपचा फॉर्म्युला का?
नाही, स्लोपचा फॉर्म्युला, ओके ठीक आहे, स्लोपचा फॉर्म्युला सांगा किंवा मला डायरेक्ट व्हॅल्यू सांगा. दिस व्हेरी इझी, ओके.
1
y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1.
Is it okay? y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, formula is correct, no issue. Now calculate this slope. Now calculate. Who told the value of slope is 1? Please tell me the name. What is the value of slope? Please tell me what is the value of slope.
1
1 is
very good, okay. 1 is this value of slope. Now tell me why 1. This is the mathematical concept.
linear graph है.
Okay, first thing is this is your linear graph. Excellent answer, okay. So carefully observe, graph is very important and the nature of graph, okay. So this is the graph which is passing through the your origin, okay. So this is your linear graph, okay. First of all, how can I say this linear graph? If I say field current is 2, then I get short circuit ampere is 2. If I say field current is 1, then simultaneously I get armature current value is 1, okay. If I say, let us consider the field current I set and on 5 ampere, then what is the value of armature current? 5 ampere, okay. So what it indicates? It indicates that if I increase the value on x-axis, simultaneously the increase the value on y-axis. So this is the nature of linearity, means output follow input. What is the definition of linearity? When output follows input, such a quantity or such a graph is called as the linear graph, okay. So what is the specialty of linear graph? It is very easy to easy to understand or easy to study, okay. I can easily study. If I know the value on x-axis, I can directly told what is the value on y-axis, okay, because this is a linear graph. So whatever be the linear graph, okay, whenever be the linear graph is present, the value of slope is always 1, okay. Always remember that, okay. And means what? Here we can mathematically indicate tan 45, okay. What is the tan 45? Tan 45, the value of tan 45 is 1. So in this way we can conclude that, means what this graph indicates how mathematics is implemented in electrical machines. Now see the applications of mathematics. According to mathematics, this is your linear graph. According to mathematics, the slope is 1. Slope is 1 means whatever be the quantity present on x-axis which follow the quantity on y-axis. So means what? How, if I slowly increase the field current, definitely there is increase in the armature currents. This is the conclusion that whenever I increase the field current, my armature current also increase simultaneously. Okay, so this is the applications of mathematics in your machines. Okay, so as an electrical engineer, your mathematics should be very strong with respect to the geometry, with respect to whatever be the relation between sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate, we can draw short circuit characteristics. Okay, I hope you understood this. Okay, once we just go through the theory part. Okay, in the theory part I just read 2-3 important points. Okay, then we conclude this. First thing is your armature terminals are shorted through the ammeter. What should be care taken while to calculate the ISC? The care should be taken, that is field current should be first to be decreased or to 0 before starting alternator. Okay, so what is the conditions? That is your field current must be 0. Okay, so this is my conditions to calculate the ISC. Now what is the next point? The next point is the field current is gradually increased from 0 to IFSC. Okay, so IFSC is the your value of field current at which rated armature current flow. Okay, now in this way we can measure armature current, short circuit armature current. Okay, so this give you the nature of SSC, that is short circuit characteristics. Now at the end I can conclude how can I, so to calculate voltage regulations. Okay, to calculate voltage regulations, first of all, in indirect method, what are the 3 components or what are the 3 parameters I use? First thing is the armature resistance. Okay, second thing is VOC, and third thing is ISC. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate armature resistance, VOC, ISC. After calculation of these 3 components, I just start the main techniques or main methods. Okay, now so there are 3 methods of indirect
कट हो मध्ये मग.
okay. Hello, I'm audible to all. आवाज येतोय सर्वांना?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
येतोय सर.
Yes. Now dear friends, today we are start now the synchronous impedance method. Okay, so this is the most important methods with respect to your numerical, with respect to your practical. Okay, and with respect to your theory part. So this is one jackpot is there. If you prepare these 3 techniques, you can prepare prepare the practicals, whatever with the practicals. Okay, that is depend upon the synchronous impedance method and your ampere turns method. And this question is sometimes asked 6 mark questions. Okay, in your final paper, that is or internal paper in same exam. And this question sometimes one question is asked numerical questions based on this technique. So this technique or this method give you 3-way preparations. If you prepare one questions or one method properly, then you can prepare 3 parts. Okay, now what is this techniques? Okay, so first of all we see a synchronous impedance method. Synchronous impedance method, it indicates that what is synchronous impedance, that is ZS. Okay, how can I interpret this concept? In unit number 1, I just say it is nothing but RA plus J into XS. What is this? Armature resistance plus synchronous reactance. Okay, so in this way I explain this synchronous impedance. Okay, Now this excess, okay, that is synchronous impedance, is mainly depend upon the your field armature winding, whatever the winding present on the stator. Okay, now we have to calculate this ZS. If I calculate ZS, what is my aim? My aim is to calculate voltage regulations. Okay, so some students think about, if I calculate ZS, then what is the advantage to the voltage regulations? Okay, so dear friends, if I calculate ZS, okay, what is the formula of voltage regulations? That is EPH minus VT upon VT. Okay, so if I calculate, if I want to calculate EPH, okay, so to calculate EPH, just remember the formula which is present in the cylindrical rotor machines, that is VT sin cos phi plus IARA, okay, whole square, then plus VT sin phi plus IAXS whole square. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate EPH. Now to, if I calculate ZS, after calculation of ZS, I can calculate XS. How? Because I know the formula of ZS, that is ZS is equal to under root RA square plus XS square. Okay, if I want to calculate XS, then by using these techniques, we can, first of all, we can calculate ZS. Armature resistance is given. Okay, okay, so after calculation of armature resistance and ZS, we can calculate XS. So I put this value in this EPH formula and I calculate EPH. So this is the way we can calculate EPH. If I calculate EPH, then I just put into the formula and calculate voltage regulations. So this is the background story why I calculate synchronous impedance method. I hope you clear this concept. Okay, so this is the step by step procedure. Okay, now about these techniques, first of all, we just what is mean by these techniques and what are the parameters considered in these techniques. So first of all, this ZS is calculated by two techniques. First is the OCC, that is we already covered. Okay, that is open circuit characteristics, and SCC, that is short circuit characteristics. Means if I want to calculate ZS, this two characteristic is very important for me, okay, for the calculation of ZS. Now, so in this technique we calculate synchronous impedance. That's why this technique is also called as a synchronous impedance method. Okay, now this technique, okay, now the second important point is, in alternator, okay, there are three types of drop are present. Okay, tell me which three type of drop is present in the alternator. I already covered in the last lecture, sorry, in the last unit. Navnath, Sohan, Sohan, hello.
Yes, sir.
Sohan, please tell me what are the three types of drop present in the alternator.
Hmm. नाही माहिती सर.
Okay.
आठवण.
Then next is Rahul. Rahul, tell me which three types of drop present in the alternator. Rahul, Then Atharva. Atharva, tell me the which three types of drop present in the alternator. Tell me fast, okay? Because 40 minutes lecture is there.
Voltage drop.
Voltage drop. Okay. Again,
हॅलो सर,
yes.
ट्रान्सफॉर्मर मध्ये जे ड्रॉप होणार तेच आपल्या अल्टरनेटर मध्ये होणार ना?
Yes, yes. Pramod, you just wait. You just wait. I am just call the students. Okay. First, Rahul, voltage drop. Then Atharva. What is the next?
Voltage drop एक
Okay. Then Rupesh Nikam. Rupesh Nikam. I am audible to you, Rupesh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Please tell me which three types of drop present in the synchronous impedance method. Sorry, in the alternator.
Voltage, current आणि third नाव आहे.
Wait for 2 minutes, okay? I have one call from HOD sir. Hello sir. Huh? तुम्हाला पाठवलं होतं सर, माझ्याकडे नंबर व्हॉट्सअपला पण पाठवलं लेक्चर आहे लेक्चर. Sorry students, tell me which three types of drop is present in the alternator.
Sir, voltage, current आणि
Voltage, current. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
हा सर, आयरन लॉसेस, कॉपर लॉसेस आणि फ्रिक्शन आणि विंडेज लॉसेस.
So I'm not asking about the losses. Okay, I'm asking about if I just elaborate this concept in another way. If my EPH is not equal to VT, what is the reason? You can also tell the answer of these questions. Drop means there is one concern with the losses. Another 3 drops I already covered in the unit number 1, and we according to the drop we draw one circuit diagram. Tell me fast. Shreyash Deshmukh. Shreyash. Hello. Hello Shreyash. I am audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Shreyash, please tell me
Yes, sir.
what are the drops present in the alternator?
So armature resistance drop,
Yes, good. Next.
leakage reactance drop,
Okay. Then next.
armature reaction drop.
Armature reactance drop. Okay.
Reaction, sir.
Okay, armature reaction drop. Okay, very good. So, dear students, many times I explains why EPH is not equal to VT, because there are 3 types of drop are present in the armature. Please remember this concept, because on the basis of this concept, I explain the voltage regulations technique. Okay, if you not know what are the drops, okay, voltage drop, current drop, okay, these are the not drops. Okay, we can calculate EPH, then armature current, then your per phase voltage. So if I consider voltage drop, current drop, must be a voltage drop, but what is the reason? That questions I asked. You told that is the voltage drop or current drop. Okay, so just try to understand the basic concept, why EPH is not equal to VT. I give the small hint. Okay, why EPH is not equal to VT? Because there is some drop. Okay, if I consider one network and here I consider EPH according to network theory, and here I consider VT. Okay, If my EPH is not equal to VT, what it indicates, there must be some drop in the place, in that place. Okay. If there is some drop, means what it indicates, means what, there is some drop here, there is some drop here, and what are the components here? I consider armature resistance, here I consider that is leakage reactance, and here I consider armature reaction, that is armature reactance, that is XS or XAS. Okay, so these are the drop present. That's why my EPH, no load voltage, is not never equal to VT. Okay. Okay, so this is the way we can analyze this concept. Now, how this concept is related with this concept, that is our voltage regulations technique, because what is our aim? To calculate voltage regulations. So in these techniques, I just see we consider leakage flux and armature reactions as a voltage drop. Okay, so in this technique we consider two types of
VT म्हणजे काय?
VT म्हणजे terminal voltage.
Okay.
Okay, VT just abbreviations for the terminal voltage or full load voltage. We can write down VFL or VT. Okay, these are the same things, both are the same things. I just give the here abbreviation, that is VT, that is terminal voltage. Okay, so in this method we consider leakage flux and armature reaction drop. Okay, so two types of drop here, consider XL and armature reactions drop, that is XS. Okay, now this is the reason that voltage for a flux is the reason that we calculate synchronous impedance method. What this statement meaning is that, first of all, we calculate ZS by considering these two drops. Okay, and whatever we with the value of flux is vary in the form of voltage, and voltage is directly related with the impedance. Okay, that is voltage means what? Your EPH. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate EMF method. Now, so this EMF method, this is also called as a EMF method. Why? Because in this we calculate EPH also by considering the XS and XL. Okay, another important point is, in this case, the synchronous impedance, whatever be the value of synchronous impedance is calculated, okay, that is ZS, is calculated which is larger than the normal impedance. Okay, means if I consider this is my theoretical value. Okay, if I calculate this value ZS by using two techniques, which two techniques? OCC and SCC. Okay, so this value is larger than the whatever be the value which is designed by the designer. Okay, so this technique we always give the synchronous impedance value greater than the normal value of the impedance. Okay, so what is meant by normal value? This is your true value and this is your calculated value. Okay, true value means what? The value which is present on the your nameplate, that is your synchronous value or normal value or true value. But if I calculate this value by techniques, which techniques? Synchronous impedance methods, and use these two tools, first is the OCC and second is the SCC, means what? It gives me the ZS, but the value of the ZS is greater than this true impedance value. Okay, so that's why this method is called as a pessimistic method. Okay, pessimistic method or worst method. This is most important point with respect to your competitive exam. They always ask synchronous impedance method is called as, okay, optimistic method, pessimistic method, okay, or good method, or none of these. So pessimistic method or worst method means, why it is called as a pessimistic method? Because whatever the value is calculated, that is ZS, is over calculated. Okay, it is not accurate. Okay, so some students ask me, sir, why you calculate this? Because sometimes we have to calculate this ZS, okay, by using three techniques. First of all, derive these techniques. Okay, after that ampere turn, and after that Pottier angle. So after calculation of three techniques and after comparison of three techniques, we can conclude that Pottier triangle method is the most accurate methods. Okay, so these are the steps. Okay, we can calculate the synchronous impedance method. So these are the 3 points. What are the 3 points? I just repeat the 3 points. First of all, this method is used OCC and SCC to calculate impedance, that is ZS. That is why it is called as the synchronous impedance method. Next point is it is also called as the EMF method. Okay, because in this calculation we calculate EMF also. Third thing is it is also called as a pessimistic method. So these 3 points is very important with respect to your exam point of view or theory point of view. Okay, these 3 points must be included in these questions, that is synchronous impedance method. Okay, I think 1 minute is remaining, okay, to finish the class. Okay, so before that I want to tell you, in next lecture we finish this technique, that is synchronous impedance method. So tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday. Okay, the holiday is there. I provide one assignment which is based on the numerical. Okay, which is, this numerical is given or which is asked in the your last year exam.